what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So a massive shout out of appreciation to Abraham Mohammed, Adam, Adrian Quintana, Alistair Main, Blue Ridge Ranger, Burn Fat Till My Stomach Is As Fat As the Earth, Chow Yun Cat, Chris Hillman, Dank, Dave Rakia Gafford, David Robinson, David Wayne Foster, Daz Studio 68, Edwin Johnson, Erwin Jennisons, Felix Hung, Fireball X, God Rockin, Henrik 86, Joshua Balsimo, Kirsten Smith, Liam Nedrick, Life is Short, Maria Neelands, Matt, Missouri Bear, NA Literalist, Nagara, Nathan Thompson, Nye Bye, Rob H, Skeptic 936, Steve ALM, Texas Mike, theflatearthchannel.com, The Real Gabster, Tina Baker, Unbelievable Productions, and Windrider. So a massive shout out, a thanks and appreciation to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now we are joined by a couple of people in Discord, together with, I think, 10th Man in G+, so I'll raise the mic on them, and you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
All technical equipment working well, I hope.
I hope so. Hey, Righteous.
Hey, Ra.
Hey guys.
Greetings.
Man, what's my kitty doing? We're pretty quiet here. Does that mean I haven't started recording?
That means I just woke up.
I'm just making absolutely certain everything's working correctly.
Okay. See, Discord changed some things. You check for the server mute. The box is red now.
Uh-huh. Exciting stuff. How many hours a day do you spend in Discord, Righteous?
Like during the weekend, I try not to be there, but when I am there, I'm not always fully paying attention. Like, I might be playing a video game or checking something online. You know, it's just kind of like a background chatter. Like back when I used to watch TV in the 90s, it was just like background noise while I was drawing or playing guitar. You get what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So I'm not always focused on what's going on there. Like sometimes I'll pick and choose, oh, this is interesting, I might want to jump in this discussion, right? But not always.
Is he breaking up for anybody else but me?
No, he's not breaking up right now.
Was that Red Man and Neil?
Yep.
Yeah. How you doing?
Okay. Good, man. How you doing?
Was he break?
No, they're not breaking up, Neil. I think maybe get off and rejoin again,
Maybe
see
it's
if it
on
works
my
better.
end. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, there's an echo there. Nathan,
Yes.
did you get the message from Domesticated on Master Beef for you?
About Wide Awake?
Yeah.
I got the message, but obviously, if I'm going to talk on it, I need to actually know what he's on about, right? Rather than just parrot off his message.
Oh no, I wasn't. I wouldn't expect you to do it until you saw it, but it is a good one for maybe tomorrow or the next day.
Well, just tell me about it. Tell me what it's about.
Well,
obviously, you've got a vague description there, but
yeah, I skimmed through it. He took pictures of a nuclear plant, and one's it's 27.6 miles away, and one's from 29 inches, I believe, and one's from 4 inches observer height. And he just goes through it, and just like the Black Swan, it's phenomenal. But I would watch it first, and then just you can scrub it to the slides where it makes all the pertinent points, and it'd be a good show one day, or add to a show.
cool.
You remember the show you put out? It was called "Roll Out the Big Guns." The globe is debunked.
Yeah.
I highlighted the 1 minute 26 mark where Rumpus says it's not a visual one, but it is visible.
Yeah, immediately afterwards, you got Chocolate saying, if you guys don't follow along with this double speak, then there's no hope.
I know, it's so funny. How can it be It's not visual, but it's visible.
It's highlighted a very embarrassing part of their fairy tale.
Yeah. But just if anyone just listens to that, it's over right there. Just the response to it. It's not a visual one, but it is visible. You need to go see a doctor. Someone that can give you comfort and care and see what's going on there inside your noggin.
It's a cognitive dissonance statement. When they come out with such contradictions, you're like, that's you expressing the cognitive dissonance that you hold verbally for our amusement.
You know what it could be? I like okay, there's an echo. It could be they're not ready to receive at that particular time. Like for me, an example was when I was a smoker, and people would tell me to quit. Like, why are you smoking? And nagging at me to quit. Well, I wasn't ready to hear that, so I didn't. I wasn't receptive to it at all. I was actually made me more against the idea. But when I was ready to quit, then you guys understand?
Right. Yeah, I get it. But at the same time, let's look at the playing field. You weren't calling shows defending your smoking and proving why it's okay to smoke. Someone was coming to you without permission, or maybe someone who thought they could just come to you. But you're not out there publicly saying it's good to smoke. Here's why it's good to smoke. Blah blah blah. These guys
I
are
gotcha.
on the offensive with statements like, It's not a visual one, but it's visible. Some serious brain damage going on with that statement if you're going to try to say that makes sense.
Well, they just may be something is pushing them to go a little bit further. I'm not sure. I don't want to say.
Yeah, but that's what Nathan's talking about, though. The cognitive dissonance. They're not ready to deal with the reality of the findings that upsets the worldview.
Okay.
So then they say stuff to defend it, and then stuff like this comes out. Well, it has to be there, but it's not there. So, but it has to be there. So all of a sudden, oops, it's not a visual one, but it's visible. Slips right out of their mouth.
Well, just like me when I wasn't ready to quit, I was like, it's not that bad. I'm healthy.
Yeah, but you're missing the point. You're on the you're not promoting it to where you're on the show every day on 5 different elements, and that's being kind of globe arguments. I mean, we got 9 housekeeping questions. So you were defending a habit. You weren't ready to give it up.
So
This guy's out.
can you say they're defending a habit and aren't ready to give it up?
Yeah, but they're proactive and they're coming on the air as an expert, 100% right all the time. Never been wrong ever. On every single point, we tear them apart.
We're just here to tell them to put down that globe-shaped crack pipe.
That's the core of the problem.
Even the Bible talks about that, about being in season and out of season. If it's out of season, you can't plant the seed in them.
Yeah,
Like
no, I'm not. Yeah, you're right. That's right. But that's a different context. That's
seems
not.
like the same context to me.
He's in season. He's calling us. I mean, he'd be out of season if he was a normie who didn't want to listen and didn't pay attention if we tried to even open up with one sentence.
All right. But if he was
But
in season, he'd be able to receive that seed and grow it. And, it would grow in him.
no,
Hold on.
no, he's not in season in the way like a receptive ground would be to a seed that could nourish the seed with the minerals and all the essential dynamics that go with seed and being buried and watered for a plant to grow. He's not good ground. He's bad ground. He's fighting it. He's fighting the seed. He's coming in and saying, don't even bring the seed. And he's coming in out of season and in season saying, don't bring in the seed. He's just bad ground. He's not, he doesn't want it.
But a seed in season is good ground.
If it's in good ground. We got the sower, the parable of the sower, and he throws the seeds out. Some land on thorny ground, some rocks. Only one makes it, the one that was on good ground. So, I mean, I know what you're saying. I have no problem with the analogy, but I'm talking about a proactive person who's militant about a point of view that we are militant back the other way. So we both can't be right. He can't say it's not a visual one, but it's visible and be right. Even his own side would say, what the heck did you just say? I mean, if it's visual, if it's visible, then why are you saying it's not visual? Can't help someone like that. You remember my analogy about pushing a rope?
Not at the moment.
Yeah, like when I'm discussing any type of subjects, it doesn't matter what subject it is. if they don't want to talk, it's like I feel like every word out of my mouth is like me pushing a rope. It's hard to push a rope. You can pull a rope, and if they're hanging on, you can pull them near and dear to you and have a nice discussion. So that's my rule of thumb. It's like, oh, well, you don't have an appetite for this, then let's talk about something else.
Yeah, if they don't want to talk about it, that's right.
But he calls in on the show and wants to talk about it. See, there's the difference.
Yeah, it's like if somebody's complaining about all the problems they have, and if they don't ask for the help, there's no need to, like, if you provide the help, it won't work.
Right.
If they're asking for the help, then
Yeah.
and they
No,
do
good
what
point.
they take advice. Yeah, take advice. Whole Discord filled up a bit.
Any ballers there? Ones that could talk sensibly?
Nah, they're done.
Should be the easiest thing in the world to prove, right?
I would think so. The governor over here is asking the sports teams to go back to work without fans.
Without what?
Without fans in the stadium.
Oh. Oh, he wants sports to continue without anybody paying to watch it?
Yeah. Funny, right?
Oh, sounds like
And
it's not a visual
I've heard
one, but it's visible.
and I've heard a few restaurants, few people, they were planning on doing a little pushback and opening up, and they would threaten that their water would get shut off on top of a fine, and then the electric would get shut off.
Yeah. Well, this is something that
So
has to be addressed by millions of people at one time so that the powers to be can't do it to millions of people. They can do it to a few.
yeah, it's
But
got to
what they'll
be.
end up doing is that they'll end up charging you to watch the sports that you would normally experience on free-to-air TV. They'll start charging for everything. So they'll effectively get rid of, stadium. Well, the stadiums will probably still exist, but the arenas will still exist. But I mean, everything will be digital and everything paid for digitally. So, I mean, that's an option that they may be looking for because they're trying to get everyone to work from home, even watch your sports from home. So. What's next? You're actually starting to see the players themselves playing online sports instead of actually doing the practical sports themselves. It's getting ridiculous, that's all.
I'm cracking up because I could see these superstar players making $50 million a week saying, you know what, I don't have to go train anymore. I could just lay around here in my multi-million-dollar mansion and be a digital soccer player.
Exactly. Well, you saw Sebastian Vettel, the F1 driver, he just ordered himself a £100,000 or whatever simulator. So he's probably just going to get into sim racing now.
Yeah.
He's got the skills to do it on, practically he can just apply it on the simulator, I suppose.
It's already massive because of Twitch, right?
Yeah.
There's loads of people doing that sort of stuff, and the race car series is really, really popular. People fully commit to it like it's... I was about to say like it's real racing. Well, it is real racing. It's real racing in a simulation.
Yeah,
Well, I guess that's
definitely
one
it is,
way
and it does
Sebastian could beat
require
Mercedes.
focus and reflexes and all very similar sort of attributes that an actual racing driver would need to have. Be it, it's just obviously, like you said, in a simulator, and not you don't have all the other aspects of reality that you have to deal with.
Yeah, you
But
can't crash and die.
that too, yeah. But having said that, a lot of F1 drivers have actually come up against some of the sim racing elite and have been beaten. But a lot of the times they actually do quite well. So it's obviously I feel obviously a whole different ball game. But like I said, that
Real
there are
F1
some basics there that are very essential.
Real race
They
car
won't
drivers
get
have been
beaten
doing
on
it
a
for
real
years.
track.
So for years and years and years, they've been getting better muscle memory through actually doing, not muscle memory, cognitive, whatever the memory that you get when you visualize things over and over again. So they'll just use race car, PlayStation games to visualize the track more and more. So it does get them
They're
better.
building their super neuron highway.
Yeah, exactly. It's not muscle memory.
Exactly.
It's the opposite of muscle memory. It's like the memory of which turn and how long, etc., etc. And obviously, I remember Top Gear covering it and saying with a race car driver that there were subtle differences. In other words, Clarkson tried the exact same thing, and when he went on track, he was like, "Well, they don't. It doesn't give you the idea of this little undulation and this little bit of tarmac that's been knackered up from 200 cars going over it. It doesn't give you that." No matter how good the simulation is, and he's right. You can't pull a G in a simulator.
Exactly. Even the ones that move around can't sort of obviously won't be able to simulate those G's.
No, that's what it's all about, right? Lewis Hamilton, he's like a strip of piss, isn't he? He's a skinny little dude at the peak of physical fitness because he's going to sweat his way through about 4 litres of water throughout the race, and he's got to be in peak physical fitness, and they come out of the race, he's like half a stone lighter because of the amount of energy and water that they've got rid of over the course of the race. Well, that's physically endurance, right? You stick them in a race car simulator, even if it's got actuators all over it and great sound and a massive screen or screens all around you, it's never going to even come close. Not even come close. Not in
Agreed.
my opinion.
Exactly. And also the weight does count when you're talking about these cars where kilos do matter.
Yeah.
The actual weight of the driver matters big time as well, so they need to maintain their weights. I actually personally do you guys know who Casey Stoner is?
No.
No, well, he's an Australian MotoGP multi-champion. Up there with what's his name, Valentino Rossi. I had a chance to race him around a go-kart track, and he was tiny. And I'm not a huge guy, but compared to me, he was absolutely minuscule. And you could tell that he probably weighed around about 55 kilos, but he just absolutely blitzed everyone around the track, and it was just amazing to see him take the corners like he did and all the racing lines. But like I said, he pretty much lapped everyone, and everyone had the exact same carts. Everything was the parameters were all the same. So but it was interesting.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, how dare you, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected. And if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. Now we are joined by Righteous Force, 10th Man and Chocolate Sane in G+, together with a whole bunch of people in Discord. So welcome one and all.
G'day,
Good
g'day.
morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Any signs of a physical geometric Earth curve edge?
Not from Amarillo,
Nope.
Texas.
Paul,
Not
No
since
signs of any
2019.
curvature whatsoever.
Hey, Paul.
You look outside your window and you see nothing but a beautiful flat Earth. To make
Indeed.
other claims of balls spinning and curvature is absolute lunacy, guys. Lunacy.
Talking about spinning, any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
No. Earth is obviously observably flat and motionless.
That's right.
No straggly Coriolis claims coming our way? No? Nobody?
Kojo, you there?
Are we fishing? Are we fishing for kosher fish?
No, not in the slightest.
Or Xanic tuna.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
No evidence for the distance.
I would say it's somewhere in the sky. It's the best I got.
You'd be right.
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
What's that?
You get me down with this question.
Anybody? Anybody at all? Going on.
Well, they can't force us to answer it.
They can't force us to. They can think if they can force us to, though.
I want to know what it is.
Me too. Moving on. Any single
That's-
viable
that's
hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
Hang on, Nathan. Chocolate wanted to add something to the last question.
Go on, Chocolate.
No, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, isn't that why it's a weird question when we're asking scientific evidence for it? Because wouldn't that be a what is question? But then they assert to us that there is scientific evidence for this crap. But it's not a cause and effect relationship. It's just what is gravity?
But they'll often assert it as a causal relationship for something. Cause of gas pressure without a container, gravity.
But then they
But
need
without knowing what it is.
Yeah, well, that's a minor detail to them.
Oh, okay. No worries then.
Container is not necessary.
If you're going to overcome natural law, you don't really need to know what you're overcoming it with. It's just words, right?
Yeah. It really is level stuff, guys.
Yeah, we definitely
Don't
work
need
at
to
the
worry
really is
about
level.
really is.
Speaking of really is levels and gas pressure without a container, is there any evidence you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon?
Not
Just walk outside. Yeah.
Hey, Owen.
Just kidding. Hello.
Good show?
Thanks. You thought so?
I didn't. I was a question. Sorry. Good show? Question mark.
Oh, question mark. Yeah, it was okay. Second half, I was a bit slow. First half, but right.
Fair enough.
What have you been talking about?
Just doing, still on housekeeping. But
Oh, right.
any evidence of gas pressure without a container? None so far.
No. maybe a cup with something, or a container with something, and then a pipe thingy, and all kinds of containers that are claimed not to be containers. That's the evidence.
I see. So just show a container and say it isn't a container. That sort of bag.
Yes.
I see. No.
That they keep talking about the gradient.
We could talk about gradients.
Gradient.
Delta X.
It seems to be good enough for some people in order to reference videos that do that in their argumentation.
Yeah, but without the container, there can be no pressure.
Right.
It's pressing on
So there is
something,
no
that's for
evidence,
sure.
but you can think that there is, even though it makes no sense.
Right on. What did you say, Neil?
We're breathing, so it's pressing on something, that's for sure.
Indeed. We must have containment. It's a necessary antecedent-consequent relationship. Consequent is gas pressure, the antecedent, a container. Moving on.
Hang on, before you move on, Nathan. I see a similarity somewhat in, and that may not be the right word, but the gravity and the gas pressure. They come up with gravity because they got to have some invisible force. That's not a force to keep all the water from spinning off from a globe that's supposedly spinning. So they make up this thing called gravity. On the other side, we have air pressure, which can't happen without containment. But we look up in the sky, we don't see the container. But we definitely know you can't have air pressure without containment. So when you look at our argument, we're staying within the realms of science and saying the only way you can have pressure is by containment. It's the antecedent. They don't have an antecedent for theirs. They just made theirs up.
And the worst part is they'll say, "Oh, I don't see a container. You guys haven't shown us the container." But yet you believe in a force that your own narrative tells you is not a force, but you can think of it like a force that you have no actual evidence for, and that can be disproven with a simple thing like a helium balloon. But yet, apparently, you think that thing that allows the helium balloon to go up is keeping all the atmosphere here in a pressurized system around a ball in a vacuum. Way to go.
Next to 10 to the minus 17 torr space. Right next to it.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
We didn't actually cover any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics.
That's because there isn't one.
Not a viable one, anyway.
Unless sitting down at a computer at lunchtime and looking at images counts as.
Well, they do seem to be working on a whole range of new, incredibly told just so stories with CGI support.
Hooray!
I'm still getting regular advertisements on YouTube for just that on my own show. Like when I watch my own show back.
Not
So
supposed
they
to
are
Advertisements for
pumping
what?
out luck. Well, it's not science. It's just a storytelling tradition. Like they're building better stories, heliocentric universe stories. So they're building, but it's just a storytelling tradition at this point.
That's why we're here, and we ask questions like any scientific evidence.
Yep.
That
Are you
depends on what
sure
you
the
think
stories are
science
getting
is.
better?
Think it's just a method of establishing the cause of natural phenomena. An
I know
empirical
that,
method.
and you know that, but they don't know that.
But we ask for scientific evidence because they claim scientific evidence.
Exactly.
So we're very specific.
Any evidence of the R value? Earth radius?
Black Swan.
Yep. I'd have to recalibrate it, and with that,
The
warp
black
the
swan isn't
entire
evidence
universe.
of the R value. It's a destruction of the R value.
Nah, it's just a little different.
What about molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth then? Any evidence of that? Save the best till last. This one always gets a lot of discussion.
Well, isn't the molten iron core
Nathan?
supposed to be spherical
go
as
on.
well?
How would
Sorry.
I know what the molten iron core at the centre of the presupposed spherical
Well,
Earth is?
They've depicted it. They've depicted it as spherical, so it's supposed to be in their rhetoric. So, seeing as though we have no evidence of curvature, the chances are we have no. Well, not the chances are. We know there's no evidence for a spherical molten iron core.
How long have they been teaching that stuff in the textbooks? Does anyone know?
Ooh.
At least a year.
Well, it to be fair, it is rarely even addressed. There aren't even like specific dedicated documentaries to the idea. Like sometimes it's mentioned, like molten iron or whatever, but they never really get into it. Anybody notice that?
Well, there's definitely someone trying to save it. Nathan, can you post a picture of Master B on the little ad that played under your show at a very poignant part of your intro?
Yeah.
Save your balls. Any evidence of a molten iron core?
But the other thing is, hang on. If it's molten, how can it be spherical?
Look, you're asking too many questions.
It's because of gravity, man.
It's true because they made it up themselves. How many times? It's been a while since I listened. Hold on. Shout out to Retro Bill. He says, for $25, thank you very much, Retro Bill. Been a while since I've listened live, but haven't missed a show yet. Hello from... Oh, I can't see the rest of it. Hello to the panel. Thank you very much indeed to you, Retro Bill, for the super chat. Really appreciate your support.
So retro.
Remember the egg? Remember the egg? How does it a liquid center spin continually? It has to be hard boiled. Doesn't molten mean liquid?
Yeah, the egg didn't spin very well when it had when it wasn't hard boiled. It sort of flopped around and then slowed down very quickly, presumably because it's all sloshing around inside.
But isn't that why the Earth is like pear-shaped?
Pear-shaped? Yeah, whatever. So that concludes the housekeeping then, if there's no evidence of the molten iron core.
No.
Nice to see I'm actually getting some advertising on my videos, 10th Man.
Yeah, uncanny with the title, huh?
Save your balls.
I mean, that was like, I got to save this one for Nathan.
Dr. Squatch. Dr. Squash. Is that how you say squash, as in squash balls?
Let me see.
I don't think
Did
it's
you
that.
actually click it?
No, it's a
To see what the-
screenshot. I couldn't
Squatch.
click it. But
Yeah,
feel free.
Squatch.
Again?
Yeah, you said it. Dr. Squatch or Dr. Squatch?
Dr. Squatch. Okie dokie. Probably not a doctor.
Don't.
Is he like a testicular doctor or something?
I want to see his PhD.
Is it like literally save your balls?
It could be a her. Let's not assume.
Like what? They advertise now?
It's the, I mean, you could never make this up in your lifetime. And then you see it, and you say, all right, I got to take a pic of this. This is not normal.
So have we got any newbies in the Discord server? Hello to Discord, by the way. You see we've got a few regulars in there anyway.
Yeah, no
out if you
newbies
need
here.
to.
Oh,
I saw Indrid
Lite,
Cold and
what
Redman speak up.
yeah, I'm new here. Just on a different account because being banned some.
Despite everything, hello, how you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you guys?
No, despite everything is the name of a chat participant.
Oh, I see. I see.
I'm amazed I could read it at this distance. The text is so small in my Discord, my bit that I monitor.
Sorry,
Hello.
I'm okay.
I thought for a second that you were interested in how I was.
Oh, yeah, sure. Tell us all about it during this live Flat Earth show.
Sorry, despite everything, I think you wanted to say something.
No, I heard Nathan say something. Sorry.
I was just welcoming you, saying hello.
Oh, hello. Thank you. Nothing. I'm listening to you 3 years, man. Go on.
Jazzaconda's laying very low. Kept himself to himself.
It will be nice to see you only and to meet you if it's possible, Nathan.
Yeah, I think I'm doing one of the conferences this year, depending on whether or not we're all locked down in September.
Yeah, but when it's finished this thing, I'm from Coventry.
Oh, really? Oh, you're very local.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I was many times in Leamington, but I never saw you.
We will do some local meetups. Martin Leaker mentioned this to me, you know, when the lockdown started. It's like, we've got to do some meetups, right? And I was like, yeah, of course. So I'm sure we will do some more pressing of the flesh, so to speak. I'll arrange to meet with Martin in the not too distant future, hopefully, depending on how things go. But yeah, got to do more meetups.
It will be
it's
great.
Nice. Definitely nice to meet people.
Thank you.
Good to have you. What else we got? How what?
Yeah, sorry, one more thing. I made some video. I think Arvin had it on his channel. It's a little bit, let's say, stupid. Like I made some like promotion, like for your and Quantum Erasing channel.
Is that so? Oh, well, thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Can you stick the link for us, Arwin, in one of the Skype chats if you can? I'll have a look at it once the show's over. Thank you very much. I get all sorts of people making me stuff all the time, just sending me various memes. All of the memes that flash up on the new backgrounds are all just chat participants that have randomly emailed me. Here you go, here's a meme with you holding a sword and a black swan. Thank you very much.
Cool.
Do you get the similar stuff sent to you, Arwin?
Nah, yeah, sometimes I do get some. I got like, what's it? Bill G, was it? Made like a, he's a welder and he made like an early bird welded plate one time. It didn't send it to me though. Although a few days ago I got sent a couple of maps, so I do get sent some things every now and then. But yeah, not so much memes. I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't like the whole Win Army thing. That I don't know what it is.
So for the audience's benefit, there's a, as Arwen puts it, a Win Army, which is like Aristarch Win, or Rage Win, or Sip Win, all these different play on Arwen's name as chat participants. And I find it very endearing, actually. I think it's. I don't think they're. Even though they might be trolling you to a certain degree, I think it's actually very endearing, Arwen.
Okay. Well, I feel they're a corrupting influence, but I don't know. People seem to like them, I guess. It's just
They're
If only
harmless.
they
They
knew it
seem
was
harmless to
pronounced
me.
differently, right?
Say again?
I said, if only they knew it was pronounced differently, none of their little names would make any sense.
What, Vine? Harvine. Harvine.
A.
Harvine.
A.
Harvine.
Almost.
Not bad. Nevertheless, the Win Army makes no sense when you
Vine.
know the actual pronunciation of his name. You're right.
Right.
Arvine? Arvine?
Yeah, but please don't go and pronounce it that way. It's just weird. Just call me Arwen.
Alright.
It'd be a vain
We
effort.
tried.
Been thinking more and more about the 5 stages of loss. I know we talked about it yesterday. Was it yesterday or last week? I forget. I lose track of time. But
You talked about it last week and then covered a little bit about it yesterday.
yeah, yesterday it was just covering one particular chat participant that I saw regress through 2 stages at once, which I thought was quite amusing. But yeah, once the screenshot flashes up, I'll hopefully catch it and pause it while it's on screen. So what are the 5 stages, if I can remember them off the top of my head? I think initially you've got denial, then you've got anger, then you've got bargaining, then you've got depression, then you've got acceptance. So those are your 5 stages. And denial is the most easy to describe. So someone who comes along to a video that's, let's say it's a reasonably complicated video. Let's say it's a complete dissection of the black swan. They'll come and they'll watch the first 25 seconds of the intro and write words to the effect of, "We know it's a sphere, you're all idiots." Ha ha. Enter. And then off they go with their day. Just pure denial, right? That's stage 1. The second stage is the guy that comes to the same exact video and might watch for 10 minutes. And it gets to a point that sparks a bit of cognitive dissonance. Something doesn't quite function in the cognitive processing he's currently undergoing. And he gets very angry about that. And says, "You all need shutting down. I'm going to report this video." Anger. Right? And then we've got our bit. This is the mid stage, which is quite good in a way. People can go either way from here. So the mid stage is the bargaining stage, or to put it in our vernacular, the debate stage, right? Well, no, you're wrong. You can have gas pressure without a container. Check out my pipe. So the bargaining stage has some amusing byproducts, right? Because people caught in cognitive dissonance in the enlightenment stage, or partially way through the enlightenment stage, that their religion's a complete farce, you're going to come out with some complete corkers, right? Like, yeah, you can have gas pressure without a container. Check out my pipe with it pressing on the walls of this pipe. That's not a container. Little nuggets like that. Right, after bargaining, you've then got depression. Now, this is why it's so difficult to move past debate and move to the next stage in the 5 stages of loss on your journey of appreciation that you've been lied to about the nature of the world you live in. Occasionally we'll see it. I use this all the time because it's the best possible reference so far. Haunted house. If I'm watching this on the re-up with you and I'm in the chat, I will post a link to this video. I've posted it many times before, but conspiracy cats, who I quote all the time, quote, conspiracy cats, 2019, "Without the container there can be no pressure," end quote. Wonderful, wonderful quote from someone on the Globe side of this argument, but in a kind of almost third person kind of way, described how others might feel about realising that they've been lied to. That's how conspiracy cats tackled him airing his grievances and depression to Haunted House over the course of about 2.5 hours. It was brilliant. Anyway, obviously you can move forward in these 5 stages, you can move back in these 5 stages, but certain stages, a lot of the people who we're dealing with will reach the depression stage. Now, in many ways, that's not to be laughed at, because when they do reach the depression stage, that's not good. But on the other hand, we're generally dealing with the bargaining stage, so who cares? But you get to see it now and again. Obviously, I don't need to go into great detail about acceptance, right? Do I need to detail what acceptance means and what it entails in terms of your realization that you're not on a flying, spinning space monkey ball in a sky vacuum? Do I need to explain what acceptance means in that regard? Anybody? Is that fairly self-explanatory?
I think it's redundant since all of us accepted it, and that's why we're on the show.
Yeah, but we've almost regressed in a way because we're here debating it. Now, while there's absolutely no uncertain terms for me about the nature of our reality, it's absolutely not a flying, spinning space monkey ball in a vacuum. It's just not. So it's not like I need to bargain about it because I think I'm going to be convinced again that it is a ball. I think it's a worthy topic of discussion to enlighten more people. In other words, there's going to be people on that path that have reached the bargaining stage and they want to bargain. So you're the same as, it's probably why you're so addicted to this 10th man, because you and I are both in sales for a lot of our careers, and that is essentially bargaining, isn't it? Give a little bit here, take a little there. You know what I mean? Well, that's bargaining, isn't it? Well, arguing about this subject, you've got to kind of you are in a kind of negotiation with somebody who's in a state of cognitive dissonance, and it's figuring out how to negotiate with somebody who's a fundamentalist and also stuck in cognitive dissonance. So we're in quite a unique position to actually discuss this subject, because it does. I feel that the debate does enlighten people more if they can see their potential journey being played out by someone else who's already gone and done research, and then watch it get very quickly smashed by us. I think that is a useful tool. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't get masses of people telling me how they've been converted to my way of thinking, and I don't expect them to, but by the same token, I can only assume that as a teaching tool, the repetition that the debate offers, and the back and forth between a party that's obviously not in favour of our position in terms of the nature of reality and our declarations about the obvious and observable flat nature of our non-spinning world, I think that is going to educate people in a more efficient way. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just rose-tinted glasses for the debate.
Can I comment on your sales topic?
Yeah.
In sales, the bad salespeople are the ones trying to sell whatever product they have to everybody. And that's what gives sales a bad name, because they go to someone who doesn't want it, doesn't need it, doesn't even want to even talk to you, and they start pushing. That's not sales. That's a pushy guy who's just thinking commissions. True sales, which I love, is the art of people skill, is to identify the right audience that wants your product, then have a conversation back and forth to see if this model or this higher model that does a little bit more is the right one for them. Because they already show interest, they already want it, they're searching for it. They just need to find the right salesman who can answer their questions and have the product that's made well and last and meet their needs. So the impression that people have about sales is mostly, you walk into a mall and a guy comes at you, or you go to a car dealership and the guy's, beelining it to you. You feel pressure right away. And that's a sad thing, because really sales is about language and back and forth with people. It's a beautiful trait.
Right on. Is it Ingrid Cold? I can't read your name. Too small. Anyway, can you pop yourself on mute when other people are talking? You're just causing a load of feedback. Sorry, 10th. Totally distracted from your point.
No,
yes,
I
indeed.
remember a story. I think I shared it once. I'm not certain of it, where I met a guy who thought he needed one of my products, and he was a millionaire, and went to his house, and he had a picture of his 65-foot yacht, and he was and I'm into boats, so I immediately saw the picture, and I forget selling anything. I just want to talk to this guy about boats. So we talked about boats for about 30 minutes, and then obviously he loved that I had similar interests, and he was ready to buy. And I said, well, tell me why you want it. And he was telling me the reasons he wants it. And I said, no, you don't need it. He says, wait a minute. You come here, you're on commission, and you're telling me I don't need your product. You're going to walk out without making money. I go, that's right. He goes, I've never met anyone like you. but I made a friend.
Right. And in this arena of sales, the pitch that we're making isn't necessarily going to result in a sale. In other words, if the customer, if you want to call him that, the guy who's on the other side of the debating fence, doesn't buy what you've got to sell, it's not relevant. Because I keep saying this to the panel, it's like you're appealing to the audience, not the person who's opposite you. You're never going to convince them, especially in this arena, because we're dealing with zealotry. So you're never going to convince them. It's not like they're going to say, "Oh, good point. Yeah, I have to reassess how I consider this force that's not a force that I can think of as a force that's actually the bending of a conceptual medium. That's a really good point. It's not real, yeah." Do they do that? No. But the audience may. That was kind of my original point.
Well, that's a better formatting of everything now. So this happened to me as well, where the competition, another salesman for another product, would badmouth me to my potential customer. And then I would say to my customer, who said what? And what company does that person represent? Okay, invite him for a meeting where we both sit next to each other on your kitchen table, and we'll go eye to eye. You pick the best product. After you drill him with all the questions you want, drill me with all the questions you want, and then I will tear apart his product because I know his product very well. And this guy's full of smoke, and I'll be here representing you as well as my company. And many times they didn't show, but a few times they did, and it was fireworks, and it was fun, and I got the sale. So that's the ballers and the trolls who call in with a product that they can't defend. And the audience is listening to us defend our product, and they get to choose which one they want.
Indeed. And it's
They
free.
don't have to choose our product, though. The product is already outside. They're already
That's why I
living on
said-
the product.
Yeah.
Like, you just go outside. Hey, look, product. There it is. It's everywhere.
Yeah, it's a
the,
weird
the
one,
other
isn't it?
guy's product that you have to look for. That's on back order, I guess, because we can't find it.
No, you can get it on No Atmo Day only.
Well, no, that's the weird
Hey,
one, isn't it,
can
Chocolate? You're
let me ask
absolutely
Tenth Man
right.
a question. Hang on a second, if you don't care. Tenth Man, if you walked into your customer and said, "You just don't understand what's going on. You're an idiot. You're just stupid," would you make any sales?
No.
So the ballers are pretty bad salesmen at this point, right?
Not necessarily. Let's say there's a general prejudice against Jehovah's Witnesses that they're irritating people who come to your door and try and take up your time on a regular basis. And if you've been told that and you've never encountered a Jehovah's Witness and then one comes to your door, what's your immediate instinct? Oh, what a waste of time. Pain in the arse, Jehovah's Witness here again. No, thank you. No, I don't have any time for you. No, I'm going to have to get on with my day. Thank you very much. As opposed to, you're here because of what? If you'd never had any influence. But unfortunately, the general masses are brainwashed into a belief that we are completely retarded, haven't got a clue what we're talking about, and don't understand science. Science denying zealots. In other words, the masses are programmed to believe we are what they actually are. It's an amazing feat to have achieved a position where you essentially program your masses, your sheeple, into believing that your friend, in this case us, somebody who's just telling them the truth, is not only your enemy, but is guilty of every single guilty thing that you are actually unintentionally or unconsciously doing. So all the crimes that all of the people who come here and challenge us are guilty of, I say crimes loosely, they project onto us directly, and they've been programmed to do so. And they're completely unaware that they're projecting the very thing that they're guilty of onto us. So being a science denier, no, you're a science denier. You haven't got a clue what science is. But you'll tell me that you've got science when you produce a model, because you don't know what it is. And pseudoscience that you've actually got is absolutely not science. But you'll claim I'm a science denier just because I'm a flat earther. So that's how it works. And that magic trick seems to go much, much further than that. We've talked about this on many occasions. When you've got things like the edge, we're challenged to produce an edge, Well, what do you know? We're debunking the edge of the sphere with the black swan and its geometric-based horizon. So your R value gives you a physical geometric sphere edge for a horizon that you don't see according to the current nonsense that we get from people. Hey, Quantum Racer, good to see you.
Morning.
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 Well, that edge is something that we're asked for, even though it's a very weak part of their argument. So why would it be the case that we're challenged to produce an edge to our model that we don't necessarily have in the first instance? Well, because their edge is woefully lacking. Their edge is their R value-based geometric sphere edge horizon. And they haven't got one. So they ask us where ours is.
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious, isn't it? Now that you say about the edge, when I quote Rumpus at the pre-show on May 15, 2020 show, Big Guns, the globe is debunked. He says, it's not a visual one, but it is visible.
Yeah, same goes for a multitude of other things. The dome. Why would it be that we're predictively programmed with these concepts and ideas of a dome? Well, so that people can highlight them when they come to Flat Earth and say, look, dome, hidden in plain sight. It's like, okay, well, dome's got connotations in terms of its description and what it is or what it might be made out of, none of which we know. However, a very weak part of the globe argument is that they've got a sky vacuum rather than a roof. So what we get challenged to prove what the roof is when we've got no way of knowing. So where's your roof? Where's your dome? Prove the dome. No, you've got a very weak part of your argument. You've got a sky vacuum for a roof, and you can't have it. It violates natural law. So yeah, that's why we get challenged to produce a roof or proof of a roof.
What you were speaking to earlier before the Jehovah's Witnesses is just a clumsy poisoning the well fallacy. That's it. It's pretty powerful, though, to Joe Normie and Sally Breadmaker. Yeah, pretty good tactic.
So just for those who don't know what poisoning the well means, if you're a game show host and you introduce contestant A as the lovely Sandra, contestant B as the lovely Philip, and contestant C as the idiot known as the Rumpus, then you're going to generally have the audience against that person from the off, just because you've told the audience that they're an idiot. Rumpus uses that tactic, and Zanuck to a certain degree, every single time they open with anything ever. So they'll immediately start with words to the effect of, you're an idiot and you don't understand X, because it poisons the well immediately. It is a powerful tool.
Well, I've had many Jehovah's Witnesses when I lived in the city come to my door, and I would say, the only way I would let you in to talk is if you don't run away when I ask you hard questions, because I know what your point of view is, and it's not what the Bible says. And they say, oh, no, it's what the Bible says. And I say, so then you agree that if I ask you a hard question, you'll answer it, or say, you'll get back to me maybe on another day instead of saying I'm full of the devil and rush out my door like the last 5? So I'm used to trolls, so to speak, that say something and say the Bible says something, and then when I press them on it, all they could do is ad hom and leave.
Or you could say, have you read Al-Quran? It's the last testament. You could sit down together.
The poisoning the well fallacy with the Joe Normies and stuff, man. It's easy to do. It's better to do when it's more powerful. If you start charging others with what you do is from the incoherent Hillary Clinton Academy, right? You charge others with what you do, and you put that power of suggestion into Joe Normie and Sally Breadmaker's mind with the poisoning the well, and any flat earther that they meet is immediately dismissed by the majority of people.
For example, you could say something like, Trump's a disgusting human being. He's hidden hundreds of thousands of emails.
Exactly.
Well, actually, I've been dealing with that with my brother lately. He's been kind of doing that, all that poisoning the well, ad homs, trying to argue different points with me. And it's just, I just find it, I don't even argue with him anymore because it gets to the point,
kind of, if you get too deep into that, remember somebody once said, if you start throwing mud, you get yourself dirty and the other person dirty. So he's trying not to get into that mudsling as much as you can help it, as well as you can, or try not to get into it. That's basically my point.
Yeah, but we're not. It's back to this. What are we selling? What are we actually flogging? In other words, when you talk about Hillary versus Trump, for example, you've got a situation where they're selling their policies and their party, whereas I don't know, it might not be true for everybody in this arena. Some people are selling their ideas like it's almost the new version of the new religion that they're trying to, put in place. And I'm not trying to do that. It's like, if you leave here and you still believe you're on a ball, then so be it. You don't have to buy what I'm selling. That's there is no shopping cart at the end of this particular journey here.
That's what I said before. Like, what's our product? Our product is go outside.
Right.
Our product is to experience the world for how it presents itself to you. Like, our product is trust your senses. You see curvature? Do you see anything that resembles some type of curve, some type of ball? No. Do you feel movement? Has any movement been measured? No. That's what we're selling. We're not selling shit. Like, it's just wake up to what the world is. Instead of pretending in some cartoon ball that you don't live on, that when you want to argue about, you have to argue how it's actually a flat, stationary Earth, but with the image of a ball attached to it. It's ridiculous.
Hey, Chris.
Product is truth.
Hold on one second. Hey, Chris.
No comprende, ese.
No sound, amigo. One second. Okie dokie.
We'll just stop the show for you.
Don't be like
that. No, just messing
with
you.
All right.
There we go. Hello.
Hey, what's up? Sorry. So I joined, and I don't know, every once in a while, for some reason, Google or these sites, they'll ask you to accept, my video and audio and such and microphone, which I did, but then it defaults to stuff I don't use. So I had to figure it out. My bad.
It's a great story, man.
Yeah. Let me hear it
John's
again.
on point this morning, I can tell.
Thanks. No, we were just covering how projection works in this arena. How the crimes, if you want to call them that. I don't know what the word is. It's not crimes, but whatever they're guilty of, they're project straight onto us. For example, being a science denier.
Yeah, our product is truth and it sells itself. It's got to beat down the ignorant monks that are trying to hide it. Charles Flat Earth Math, you're one of those ignorant monks. And today, 1 p.m. U.S. Central, 8 p.m. UK, I'm going to end it and expose you to everyone in about 5 seconds. You despicable, loathsome, worm-crawling. Rah!
Did you see his latest video?
Really?
No. Charles?
Yeah,
No.
he made it.
He just popped back on the scene.
Yeah, he's just made a video. Attacking the modus tollens, no less.
Yeah.
What?
It's a pretty weak attempt. Very weak, if I'm honest.
Oh, did he say it's a straw man? Did he bring that one back?
No, he didn't. And he just goes through what modus tollens is, gives a weak-ass comparison for no real reason, then goes on to say that the horizon's refracted, then moves on to asking a few questions of why the flat Earth does or doesn't do something. That bit I didn't really pay a great deal of attention to, but I did pay attention to...
What an idiot.
Go on. Did you latch on to the challenges he laid down? I certainly didn't. I was only paying attention to what how he rebutted, if he rebutted the Black Swan, which he did not.
Modus he doesn't even know what exponents are as a high school math teacher. I think you better go back there and take care of that business first. You friggin' clown. Where do you hear this, man? Did I say it was on the Quantum Eraser channel at 1 p.m. U.S. Central and 7 p.m. UK? Charles Flat Earth Math, the double-blind chemist? You can't miss this one, folks.
Be Here or Be Sphere, Quantum Eraser YouTube channel. I'll read out my comment that I left on Charles's latest video. Hi, Charles. Why are you talking about compression, perspective, and atmospheric refraction when your globe maths uses terrestrial refraction, 7/6R in standard form, a begging the question fallacy that assumes not only R, but 7/6R. Perspective and actual atmospheric effects are not included in your now debunked globe maths. You also discussed the distance to the geometric horizon and mentioned refraction of the horizon. Your model requires a tangent straight line to an R-based geometric sphere edge horizon. We only have one horizon, Charlie. The horizon in your globe model was geometric, based on the same R used in your terrestrial refraction, before it was debunked by the Black Swan. You no longer have a physical geometric sphere edge for a horizon, Charles, as required by your geometric globe Earth model. Nice try. Refraction won't cut it when you assume geometry. The line to that tangent point better not be bent, open brackets, refracted, close brackets, or you aren't doing geometry. See you around, Charlie. You offered nothing.
Sorry, Charlie. Tricks are for kids. And see, this is going to get kicked up a level. The reason why is you're teaching our kids. That's why it's going to get kicked up. You're not the regular rank and file retard. Right?
I completely
We're going to
agree.
kick this up a notch, son.
I absolutely agree. There's a certain level of disdain I hold for people like Conspiracy Cats and Charles Flat Earth Math because they are teachers. Now, I'll just take a breath so my blood doesn't start boiling. Yes, I hold a particular loathing, I think is the correct word, for this particular type of person in the arena we deal with. So I keep a reasonable eye on Charles because of what he is. You know, he's teaching our kids.
Teaching our kids.
Teaching our kids double speak at the moment. I wanted to get Arwin's take on something. So, in his video, Arwin, he was talking about, I mentioned it at the beginning of my comment response, compression, perspective, and atmospheric refraction when detailing a justification for why the horizons loomed above the horizon. Now, all of these effects, Chocolate, feel free to pipe up as well, are essentially all of the things we've been arguing about for the last 3 straight years.
Yeah. Right. That's a little funny because I didn't hear Earth curvature in any of those 3 things you just mentioned. But that's the only thing that they used to assert that was causing things to disappear bottom up. Now all of a sudden they've adapted. Very good, Charles, being that you've been in here since 2008. Way to catch up.
Well, Charles doesn't appreciate that he isn't particularly adept at the bait and switch that is required to do the little magic trick he failed to utilise, which is the open the suitcase with atmospheric refraction in it and then switch it out for 7/6R. He didn't even mention it, so he doesn't even realise that he's still standing in his video with all of the effects of actual conditions that we detail when you have a geometric Earth curve calculator with a refraction value based on R. He just hasn't closed the suitcase, caused a little distraction, and then swapped it out. He didn't do that bit because he's an idiot. Doesn't even
but he
know how the
said it
magic trick
nicely.
works. Sorry, go on.
But he said it nicely because he wants a civil discourse. So he wants to talk nice, be gentle, and thinks that's going to cover. Right?
I see.
You heinous, detestable worm.
Yeah. Yeah, let me just tell it like it is. Charles, your refraction isn't atmospheric based, it's R based. Geometric. You only have one cause, and that's R. So when you're claiming refraction, you need to know what refraction you're claiming. Certainly not atmospheric refraction. That would be something that we take into account when we take pictures, not when we turn things side on and do geometry with a physical geometric sphere edge horizon based on the R value that you'll use in your refraction value, you moron. Doesn't matter how softly you say it, you'll still have your ass handed to you by me, a flat earther, you stupid idiot.
John.
Hey,
I got a
Nathan,
question
I've
for
got.
John.
All right, go on.
Sorry, to kind of change the subject a little bit, but sort of on topic. John, what'd you think of me going one-on-one with Soundly the other day? I see you took some snippets from that.
Yeah, it was target rich environment. He friggin' contradicted himself. Yeah, it was good. I like how you set these guys up. Nathan, did you hear that?
I didn't. This is the first I'm hearing of it.
I sent that to you.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't catch it. I'm regretting not seeing it though.
I could put it. Maybe you could play it. Yeah, we had Soundly in here and George. They contradicted themselves. Yeah, let me hold on 1 second, then. Let me send it.
Have you got some snippets? Got about 7 minutes left.
Yeah, duh.
Excellent. Oh, Chris, ace.
Oh, I mean, Nathan. So he got one snippet, and which was good, but there were some other good ones. I went back. I don't have the sound bites. I put him in the Master B chat, so I have the text. I can read them, and they're pretty funny.
If you can read us some highlights just while Kiwi's digging out a trimmed out clip, that'd be brilliant. Yes, please.
Yeah, let me. All right. All right, Kiwi, are you ready? Or you're still finding it?
I got it.
Oh, go ahead.
No, it's in Ballbusters, Nathan.
Okay, if you read out the bit that you want, and then I'll play it after you've finished, Chris.
Okay. All right. So this was on Jose JG's show a couple of days ago, and they had like a lot of big time ballers on. Walter Bislin was on, Jesse Kozlowski, Soundly, Tim Osmond, etc. And after about 3 hours they opened the panel. So finally I got on and I was just grilling these guys, mostly Soundly because he's an idiot. So at 3:13:20 I said, why are your observations / building sizes changing? Soundly, they aren't. So then after some conversation to get him to admit they were, I asked if they optically change. Soundly, they appear to shrink or loom. I then asked, why is that? Soundly, that's just basic optics. So basically he admitted his observations are due to optics.
Perfect. I like how they're starting to argue our points. You know, previous years it's been, you idiots, what the hell do we need to take into account optics for when we're dealing with geometry? Idiots. What about perspective? You mean Fleur perspective? Why would we need Fleur perspective when we've got Earth curve? Now it's simple optics. What, like we argue? Yeah, we know.
All right, one more and then you can play. That's all I got. So 3 hours, 17 minutes, 20 seconds. Soundly, what I can say with certainty and absolute proof, deductive proof, the FE model has been proven false by the observations and the globe model supported by the observations. Soundly, 3 hours, 35 minutes, 10 seconds. I explicitly said I didn't prove the shape of the Earth. I proved definitively it's not flat.
Right, who do you want, Stingray or George? Who should we go first?
We're gonna have three. Go ahead with George. They're not all that long. George, Stingray, and I got another one for you.
Okay.
Numpty dipshit Soundly, Mr. Planet Orleans Parish. 16 May 2020.
Wait, what's the globe Earth formula then? Maybe I got it wrong. I thought it was 8 inches per mile squared.
Well, I have a video on that if you want to go watch it. 8 inches per mile squared is an estimation. That's not the actual curve of the Earth. No.
Oh, really? George the Pontiff Maximus of Retardia, 3 days earlier.
There's a common misconception, Tim and Professor Bell, regarding this 8 inches per mile squared. If you take the chord distance between the two endpoints, it's exact, no approximation.
Absolutely priceless. Soundly, it's an estimation. It's not the actual curve of the Earth. Then we have George, the Pontiff Maximus of Retardia. It's exact, no approximations. This is the quintessential example of Baltar doublespeak. With an added bonus, George the Pontiff Maximus of Retardia is in the very same conversation at the same time and doesn't correct soundly, waffles on about some other nonsensical bullshit.
Boy, that's real. So you're saying you created a model based on not actual reality and you got it to work?
No, I created an estimation.
So why are we using estimates to prove the shape of the Earth?
Chris,
Because you can't understand the elliptoid. That's why.
You need to understand, Chris, that when you intersect a sphere with an infinite plane, you get a circle.
Hey, George, you have the intellectual integrity of a spry Benedict Arnold. And soundly, numpty dipshit. What in the great googly moogly is an elliptoid? You can't make this shit up, folks. Busted again. Play it again, Sam.
Wait, what's the globe Earth formula then? Maybe I got it wrong. I thought it was 8 inches per mile squared.
Well, I have a video on that if you want to go watch it. 8 inches per mile squared is an estimation. That's not the actual curve of the Earth. No.
Oh, really? George the Pontiff Maximus of Retardia, 3 days earlier.
There's a common misconception, Tim and Professor Bell, regarding this 8 inches per mile squared. If you take the chord distance between the two endpoints, it's exact, no approximation.
And with that, I'm going to say, first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's live show possible. Stay tuned if you're watching on the Nathan Oakley Proing stream, as we're going to go through a few more clips in the after show that comes to follow. Massive thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on the Proing stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Blue, do you have hardware stores over there? What's a big hardware store name?
True Value.
Where you go buy wood at True Value then, or something like that.
Yeah. True Value what?
What do you guys often walk in and ask? You know what the tolerance of the curvature of like a long plank of wood is in its drop over feet? Because that's weird to me. That.
No, I pick it out and look at the crown. Pick out the ones that are less crown.
I'll throw you out of the store if you ask that question.
Hey, Dean, retard Stingray. What are the names of the hardware stores in your part of Narnia? Let me ask you a question. Do you guys go in the store and ask for compressed air without a container? What do you think would happen then? Do you think they'd call security? Or do you think they'd call the Queen's guards and ask them to bring a horse tranquilizer to subdue your dumbass? And a titanium lace straitjacket for your trip to Shady Meadows for your emergency lobotomy. Just FYI for future consideration, I wouldn't be asking the photosynthetic hillbilly, aka Hillbilly Blue Balls, the redneck retard, for just about anything. This bozo couldn't open up a gumdrop wrapper without extreme danger to himself and to others. For a prime example, just a few seconds earlier, the photosynthetic hillbilly said, "True Value what?" Well, hillbilly blue balls, the redneck retard. True value hardware. Heard of it? It's well past time to return to your true vocation, picking up cans along the side of the road. Supervised!
Good stuff.
One more.
Oh, you want to hear the last one as well? Okay.
Bullet Head Bill from Jose Retard Show, May 17th, 2020.
Rocky can't prove a negative.
So you can't prove a negative, eh? How about this? 1 minus 4 is -3. That was easy. Also, Clown Show, the statement you made, you can't prove a negative, is a negative itself. That means, McFly, you can't prove the statement that you just made. You can't prove a negative true, you dumbass cracker. Moreover, I can prove that I'm not an amoeba. The actual correct statement is you can't disprove complete arguments from ignorance. That is, invisible three-toed gnomes throwing pixie dust in a black hole behind the Crab Nebula are responsible for creating dark matter. You can't disprove that because it's an argument from ignorance fallacy. That is, there is no proof for it in the first place to avail anyone the opportunity to disprove it. You see, Bullethead Bill, this is what you get when you mindlessly parrot morons without due diligence or any scrutiny whatso-friggin' It's also a window into how you arrived at that belly-laughing fairy tale of a ball and chain worldview you got wrapped around your neck. You're not only a dipshit, you're a demonstrated fraud, sir. P.S. If I catch you outside your retard echo chambers mindlessly parroting that belly-laughing fairy tale evolution cockamamie horsepucky bollocks, I'm gonna get medieval on your dumbass and leave you with that just pumped the neighbor's cat look on your face, son. We tracking Sally.
That'll just about do it.
I think QE needs to quit holding back. I mean, I'm not sure how he really feels about the subject.
Okay, go on mute and start nesting. I'll take care of it.
Kind of nest. Is that a natural phenomena?
Ask Chris.
He's gone, I think. Chris isn't here anymore.
Hey, Nathan, I put up 6 slides in Master B to go over from yesterday's topic. I'd like to get QE's take on it.
I can't show him, but I can show the audience.
Yeah, I can't see him.
Starting with
Can you go to Master B?
Effective
There.
Earth radius, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so I'll start reading and then he can catch up. A radius value used in place of the geometric radius to correct for atmospheric refraction in estimating ranges of antennas when the index of refraction in the atmosphere changes linearly with height. Under conditions of standard refraction, it is 4/3 the geometric radius, also known as the effective radius of the Earth. Next slide. Radio refractivity on the effective Earth radius factor, K factor. For ease, this is great. For ease of geometrical analysis, we'll come back to that. These waves are represented as straight lines. Then compensation is done by assuming an imaginary Earth radius, otherwise referred to as effective Earth radius. How can we say for ease of geometrical analysis in the real world?
Well, you can't. It's all imaginary. They just told you it's imaginary. The whole thing's a friggin' joke. I can't believe they even said they actually said it.
I know this is amazing, but to me, for ease of geometrical analysis, to me it's akin to let us skew the truth and lie some more. because we're going to change the Earth radius in order to make this thing work.
Yep.
Now, if you go to the last slide.
Come on, you got to embrace the fiction, your science.
Yeah, that's that fiction and that science. So mathworks.com. Effective Earth radius. The effective Earth radius method is an approximation used for modeling refraction, modeling effects in the troposphere. Changing the radius of the Earth can account for refraction effects. The effective radius method ignores other types of propagation phenomena such as ducting, etc., etc. But changing the radius of the Earth can account for refraction effects. So they have to have a pliable Play-Doh Earth where they can change it anytime they want for their model to work.
Yeah, you got to have some wiggle room.
Yeah, they admitted it. It's over.
That's right. Black Swan.
They can deny it. If you come up to them, they can deny it. They can just show you all this and say, that's what we've been saying the whole time. Right? But you got the crayon munchers that just mindlessly parrot the headline. They don't look into these things behind the scenes that are supporting their headline bullshit. Right?
Yeah, that's why the outrage is totally unjustified from the people who are like, why have I been lied to? Yeah, don't be so hasty. You haven't necessarily been lied to. You just didn't scratch the surface. It was presented in a fashion that seemed to be legitimate, but had you have gone and looked into it in any particular, any great effort, you'd have found that they make it quite plain, as they do in this description. You know, they've got to make geometrical considerations when they're telling you about their model. Well, let's have a look into what a model is. Oh, well, what do you know? It's not actually reality. It's just something that you do when you have got a limitation on a hypothesis and can't provide empirical evidence. Well, isn't that interesting? So it's just a way of thinking about something, a philosophy, if you will. Well, if you understood all that, you wouldn't ever think you were stood on a sphere. That's a reification fallacy. But people don't look into it, and if you were to look into it, they'd tell you. But people don't. So it's your own fault.
Yeah, they have the mindless hordes of ignorant monks that parrot their shit, but it's not correct. So the actual liars this is pretty twisted. They're not actual lying. You know, the rank and file knuckleheads that we deal with, they're not lying. They just haven't done their due diligence. They're just parroting the headline. And the guys that are behind them, the pseudoscience priests that are behind them, have deniability because it's in print. Follow? You're getting the game here.
No, I totally get it. Andrew Thomas Young's got it all covered. He's got it explained how it is. Right? Well, his extrapolations and assumptions are there, laid bare for everyone to consider. And if you decide to reify beyond the geometrical considerations that you can take for a not actual position, well, then you can choose to reify that at your own discretion. That's up to you. That's your bad. That's the point. But when it comes to people parroting it incorrectly, they don't ever check each other on it. We heard an example earlier. You know, you've got one guy soundly saying it's not 8 inches per mile squared, that's an approximation. And then you've got George saying, oh no, it is absolutely, that's certain. You're like, well, why would you have this glaring contradiction not checked by their own side? Well, because they're acute, at least an unconscious level, aware that it's riddled with doublespeak. There's loads of things that don't make any sense.
Yeah, so when you drag friggin' Andrew Thomas Young and all the pseudoscience priests into court for crimes against humanity, they just flip out their documents and say, we didn't say that. So then you say, okay, wait, I got to get somebody in here. So you're going to pull Rumpus, you know, the Pontiff Maximus, all those guys in. But you can't prove they lied. They're just morons.
Yeah, they were just stupid. That's the problem, isn't it? They're not actually in authority of any of this stuff they're parroting. They're just morons parroting nonsense that they didn't understand. And they go around telling us about how we don't understand, when we're telling them, look, even the people you're getting this crap from are telling you, it's just a bloody model. But no, they'll tell us how we are actually stood on a sphere, and the people who rage against having been lied to really have just paid attention to morons like Rumpus. Well, that's your own fault.
You got it. That's it. That's the game. With this specific genre. Now, there's other knuckleheads that we can drag into court for crimes against humanity. We'll just hold off on that for right now.
Mic check. There's
a bit of reverb on you, but other than that, you're okay.
Right. Is Quantum Eraser going to be on Jose's today?
I will never, ever.
Oh, I guess that was just clickbait, man. Never mind. Carry on.
That retard show. Ever. Got it? Thanks.
Yeah, because he had a show titled Quantum Eraser versus Jose coming out later on today. So I thought you were going to be on there, but I guess it's just clickbait. Never mind.
He was in Discord the other day where I drug him around by the short hairs. The idiot will probably cherry pick the son of a bitch and then charge me with cherry picking. I mean, this guy is a full-on 5-alarm retard, dumpster fire. Everyone knows it, so I don't know what he's going to do. You know what he does? He goes in and tapes stuff, right? He doesn't tell you he's taping.
Yeah.
He does it surreptitiously. He's been doing it for, 6 months, a year.
Yeah, like they always do. Did you see the clown show he had on with Jesse Kozlowski and George a couple of days ago?
George and Soundly, yeah, I tuned in. I just made some clippets from it, yes. And?
Yeah, I'm going to be taking that apart too in a few days myself.
Cool.
Tell me more. I don't watch this nonsense.
I'll keep you in suspense. It's going to be a surprise.
It's really stupid. You got Jesse Kozlowski. You have Soundly. You have Timmy Clown. He's part of the inside group. Walter Bislin. I mean, if you listen, you're going to lose IQ points. I got to warn you.
Yeah, Timmy doesn't know what's going on. He's just a string puppet marionette that just says whatever Jesse tells him to.
You've never debated anybody since I demolished you. Same with Nathan. I demolished him on Steve's channel, and both of you have been frightened to debate ever since. Not surprisingly, I suppose, again, you suffered so horribly.
Hey, Rumpus.
You demolish yourself every time you open your own mouth, Rumpus. You're ridiculous. Nobody takes you actually seriously.
Rumpus, at the beginning of this,
Just highlight that the poisoning well fallacy has immediately been successful.
Speak the truth. Nathan has never appeared in the debate. So badly, he's never come out of his bunker since. The same's true of QE. They've now hiding in the bunker away from the.
I thought I never came out at all.
I was about to say the same thing. So we've got a contradiction. So you're describing when we've gone and debated you elsewhere, but simultaneously saying we never come out. That makes no sense.
Since then, you idiot.
Since then. So I see. So in sales, we have this saying, you're only as good as your last sale. That could be an hour ago, though, couldn't it?
Well, yeah, but you haven't. You've not sold anything for 2 years since.
I've not got anything to sell. Reality is what it is. The Earth is obviously and observably flat. You can take it or leave it, or reify a model if you choose to.
It's observably spherical. Just look at horizons.
What, the actual non-geometric, non-physical horizon that you can't measure and is based on an R value? That's not really something that I'm going to look at. We can't even see the damn thing. How am I supposed to look at it to assume sphericity if we can't even see it? We're being told we do not see the geometric horizon, so I don't know how that's going to be of any use to you. We can't even see the damn thing.
I think Rumpus needs his fisheye lenses checked.
Rumpus, quoting your own words. Rumpus.
On a geometric horizon.
We can't see the geometric horizon. Why do you keep telling us about the geometric horizon when it's something we can't see? You know, you're insistent on telling us about it, but your words kind of don't really cut it. If you can't see it, you can't see it.
Horizon. You talk about the geometric horizon. I keep on talking about the apparent horizon, which is where the sky meets the sea.
Yeah,
the geometric horizon is apparent, you numpty dipshit.
Yeah,
but you
because
need
the one
to-
we have is apparent. You don't have a geometric horizon. You've admitted that yourself.
What have I
Rumpus.
admitted?
We all heard
What have I
you.
admitted? What have I admitted?
That we do not see the geometric horizon. That's what you've admitted. So, what do you want? You've said we don't see it. It's not visible. You said it, wasn't it yesterday that he admitted that it's not visible?
I have the quote. May I read it?
Sure.
This is what I'm trying to get, because he's doing it again. He said at the 1 minute, 26 minute mark, it's not a visual one, but it is visible.
The geometric horizon is not where the sky meets land, because we have refraction.
So the geometric horizon
Then
is
it's not a horizon.
where the sky meets the ground. But where the sky meets the ground is a horizon. That's the definition of horizon. But the geometric horizon is not, I repeat, not where the sky meets the ground. Therefore not, I repeat, not a horizon. It only exists as a horizon in your geometric model. That's the only place this model horizon exists. Not in reality, though.
QE has read out about 4 to you in his Hangout.
Here we go again.
Yeah, we did. And one of them, the apparent horizon. Shut up, Neil. Let me finish my sentence. Don't interrupt. The apparent horizon.
this has been discussed many times. They went over.
Let's let him have a little rumpus session with Neil for a couple of minutes. It'll keep him occupied. Anyway, yeah, we don't see it. It's a horizon he's describing that only exists in a model. It's a geometric horizon, in quotes, that exists in a model labelled with horizon, but it isn't really something we ever see or can measure, or is going to block boats or cause things to disappear bottom up, because we don't see it. It used to be the proof that we lived on a curved Earth. It used to be called Earth Curve. Now we don't see it. So this is seeming to me like a bit of a pointless exercise. You know, we've got the black swan on screen now in all its beauty. Wonderful. It's debunked the model. It's dead. You don't have an R-based geometric horizon anymore. It's game over globe, I'm afraid.
The diagram you were describing only shows the geometric horizon. It's a failed diagram in that regard. It only...
Oh, right. Well, that's the basis of your model, though, isn't it? If it's a failed diagram and the diagram's based on an R-based geometric Earth curve edge from your Earth curve assumption that Earth is spherical, then it's a failed model. Wow, what a declaration. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, we realised that about 5 years ago. Yeah, we know it's a failed model. We don't live on a bloody model. The fact that you, on your globe side of this argument, are telling me that the depiction we show, based on R, which is what gives you your physicality, is a failed model, well then, what do you want? We've won. There's nowhere else to go here. We know it's a failed model. We've debunked it. My God.
No, the model's fine. The diagram...
What do you mean? You've just told us it's a failed model. How can it be fine and a failed model? My God, you're an idiot.
Neil, you've got some buzzing in the background or something. Someone has. It's really echoing. No, it's
Oh, how terrible.
That's
got some
going on
echoing.
between your ears.
Yeah, we got some echoing. Have this echo. It's a failed model.
completely incoherent full model that works perfectly.
How can it be a failed model and work perfectly? You've just said the model we show, I've got it on screen now, from Andrew Thomas Young, and you're saying it's a failed model. Well, it's your donkey dick geometry with your R-based sphere horizon, and you're saying it's a failure. I mean, what more do we need? We don't need to do anything else here. Just need to let these idiots open their mouths and tell us about how much of a failure it is.
I'm listening. I said the diagram was faulty.
Oh, well, tell Andrew
Diagram,
Thomas Young
not the
that.
mo-
Tell Andrew Thomas Young how much of a failure he can diagram donkey dick geometry. If it's a failure, then tell Andrew Thomas Young, because that's what we get shown. That's why I picture it. That's what we've had shoved in our face while we're told Earth's a sphere, based on an R that you assume. Well, if you haven't got an R-based sphere edge horizon, and that's apparently a failed depiction and a failed model, then our work here's done. Even your own side, Rumpus, is admitting it's a failure.
It doesn't show
Rumpus.
the apparent horizon.
We've only got one horizon, moron. The horizon marked with an X and labelled horizon in your geometric model is your horizon. It's geometric, it just doesn't exist in reality. So it's bye-bye globe model. End of globe. You don't have an hour-based horizon. You used to tell us all about how it blocked stuff in the distance, though, and how boats were going over it, and how everything was based on how Earth has geometry. Now we're told we've got two bloody horizons. One we see, the apparent horizon, even though by definition all horizons are apparent, and the geometric horizon that we don't see and only exists in your model when you're doing your donkey dick geometry. Well, that's just a pathetic excuse for not having the horizon required by your geometric model that you used to assert caused buildings to be obscured. Now it's just a footnote in a dead model.
You read out. Have you forgotten what QE read to you already?
What do you mean forgotten what QE read to me? I don't need QE to read anything. I know, you've told me. We don't see it. It's not visible. But you're going to need it to draw tangent lines to it. So if you haven't got it, you can't see it, it's not visible. You're not going to draw a bloody tangent line and prove it's blocking boats. So it's game over, globe geometry, moron. That's the end of the line for your model. It needs tangents and physical horizons to draw to, idiot.
The one that works without an atmosphere, and then there's the apparent horizon that takes into account refraction.
Rumpus, why didn't you ever call it the apparent horizon before the Black Swan?
How are you going to draw
You guys
tangent
always
lines
acted
to
like it was just one horizon. Now all of a sudden after the Black Swan, we got a geometric one that we don't see, which is not a horizon, and now we have an apparent horizon.
Would you like to see a diagram, Nathan? Which I
No,
showed
not in the slightest. I don't want to see a diagram. I've got a picture of a beautiful horizon on screen. Your diagram will have a horizon that's marked with an X inside profile. It won't be a line across the screen, will it?
Yes, it'd be a curve. Because raised...
Sorry, will the curve be the assumed Earth curve, or will it be a horizon spanning left to right in the imagery?
I'm talking about a ray of light.
Rays don't exist. They're a... what's the words, QE?
They're an unrealistic mental construct that don't exist in reality.
Yeah, an unrealistic mental construct. We don't need that. We work at the really is level here, moron.
Nathan, look at the diagram Roger's posted in the chat.
Sorry, did you just ignore every word we said about rays? Did you? Sorry, Rumpus, I'm trying to establish with Discord. Rumpus, I'm going to have to mute you because you're now filibustering. Did he ignore every word we just responded to with about rays? Did anybody hear our response?
Not at all.
Absolutely not.
Oh, let's just ask him. Are you scared? Are you scared of our rebuttal about rays?
I didn't hear it.
That's because you didn't shut up. You talked through it. You muted us. You muted us, Rumpus.
Well, I tell you what, we'll take turns.
No, I'm asking you, Rumpus. It's not... Let's put him on mute. Right. Maybe you need to go and stick your fingers in your ears, Rumpus. Do you need to stick your fingers in your ears? Yes, he does. He stuck his fingers in his ears. Somebody kick him out of the server permanently. Because basically, there's only one rule with this asshole. Either he ignores every word we say, or we try and have a conversation with him by shutting him up so he can't talk through every word we say, in which case he'll put his fingers in his ears. In other words, Rumpus is demonstrating currently by putting himself on server mute that he is not willing to listen to our side of the argument. If we're talking, he is also talking. And if we force him to listen by stopping him from talking through us, he puts himself on server mute. So he refuses to listen and talks when we talk. At this point, I'm going to ask the rest of the panel. As far as I'm concerned, Rumpus is no further use to us. He's not prepared to take part in a back and forth discourse. Would everybody agree?
Yes.
I disagree, but I understand your decision.
Oh, it's not a decision. I'm asking your opinion, Arwin.
Oh, okay. Well, Rumpus will always be Rumpus, but he is kind of on the front line of figuring out machinations as his own pet project. Not as a priest even, but as his own priesthood almost, I think sometimes. And I'm just fascinated by what he managed to conjure up sometimes. But he will push your patience to the limit, no doubt.
It's not that he's pushing my patience, far from it. It's just that he's not actually taking part in a discussion with this. All he's actually...
You don't play fair.
Right, yes. I agree. Yeah, no, you can't just have a normal conversation. But that's because it's Rumpus.
Right.
No, he's a troll. He doesn't care for truth. He just comes here and double speaks. And I think you've been very patient with him, but I'm tired of him. Actually.
But he's not taking
I would've
part in the
kicked him out
discussion
3
anymore.
years ago.
So, for instance, he just said, "You're not considering raise," and then he got a response, but he didn't listen to it and wanted to move on. And then discuss. Let's just take turns then, like he's suddenly Mr. Reasonable.
I'm always reasonable. If you take turns, I'm very reasonable.
Oh,
you want to
right.
talk about
Let's have
Ray?
a try
I'm more
then.
happy to you spend. I don't know. You could want to spend 30 seconds.
Shut the fuck up! No, we were talking about raise. Now go and stick your fingers in your ears. Stick them in, bitch. I'm telling you. Stick your fingers in your ears. While we... There you go. Good dog. Now fuck off. I kicked you out. I kicked you out for a reason. You're a scumbag that doesn't want to take part in actual discussion. Now, what you wanted to do then was start laying down the rules in my show. No, you stupid idiot. You don't get to start telling me about how we'll do a back and forth based on what you say for the next diatribe 20 seconds of you waffling on about what you should get. That's not how it works. Rumpus isn't prepared to take part in a back and forth discussion. Even when he says, let's take part in a fair back and forth, we'll take turns. No, he won't shut up. He'll just continually talk until you interject and then he'll tell you off. He thinks I haven't played the game with him for 4 years straight. I have.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Take turns. What is this? 3rd grade? Clown.
He don't know what a dictatorship is, does he?
The bottom line is, he was scared to hear the rebuttal. And I'm going to start highlighting it if we're not going to agree that he shouldn't come back, because he doesn't add anything. What's he adding if he's not listening to a word we say and responding to it? He's just spouting his rhetoric, and then when we challenge it, he talks through it. Literally, what is he offering at that point?
Nothing.
Nathan,
Not only that, but he keeps saying the same thing over. I remember when QE explained those horizons. Well, you explained it to him, and he keeps bringing the same shit up.
Yep.
Nathan, he quotes that he's been in email contact with Andrew Thomas Young. I've just posted that reference that you had QE say by memory. It's in Master B. I'll read it here. The simplest solution to the horizontal ray paradox is to remind ourselves that rays are an unrealistic mental construct. In reality, we always have a beam of light, infinitely narrow. Rays don't really exist.
Yep.
So if this guy has an email back and forth with Andrew Thomas Young on looming, why is he throwing Andrew Thomas Young under the bus on rays?
Well, maybe he knows, but that's why what we got when we tried to respond to that was him continually talking. Because he doesn't want to hear something that demolishes his next point. He wants to talk about rays, an unrealistic construct. Well, we don't want to, and we're not going to be told that we're going to have to sit through 5 minutes of his nonsense about them. But he's not going to listen to us say that. But he will go on and on about how we'll have a fair back and forth and let's take turns. No, because that will distract away from the point that we've just smashed. And the longer he can do that, the further away we get from him saying, let's talk about rays, and us going, no, this is why we're not going to talk about rays. They're unrealistic. We work at the really is level here, while you bend your little light rays in your simulations. No. But he's too scared to have that, because he knows it ends his point. So he'd rather filibuster and talk through every word of it.
Yep,
You got some
he plays
serious
both.
background
He plays
going
both
in Discord.
sides.
Somebody's got their mic open.
It's me. I'll put on mute. I'm on mute. I'm on mute.
Yeah, he
Hey,
did the
Ken.
same thing. Yeah, go ahead.
10th, go ahead and read that Rumpus quote out, and please, I want you to print it out and put it in Master B or somewhere.
The one that it's not a visual, but it's visible.
Yeah, the first one that you started with. Yeah, let's all hear it again. Say it loud and clear.
Yeah, and I'll send you the link because Nathan has it as a cutout show as well. It's a 126 mark from the show called Roll Out the Big Guns. The Globe is Debunked, May 15, 2020. Rumpus, quote unquote. It's not a visual one, but it is visible.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
What? I missed that.
I'll post it now. You can play it.
Visible?
I'll be back. I'll post it. You can play it.
Not visual, but it's visible. All right. Thanks for clearing that up.
We'll just add that to the air is not the atmosphere, and the second law doesn't apply to the earth.
Right.
A visual horizon, but it is
So we don't
visible.
see it.
Oh,
so it's
so
not a
then not a
horizon.
horizon.
I just repeat that to you, Rumpus. I know you.
Not the geometric one, then.
They're not the geometric
Well,
one.
how many times do you have to be told that, Nathan? The apparent horizon is the one that you see.
And the
Very
geometric one is the one we don't see, because if we don't see it, it's not a horizon.
It's not a visual horizon, but it is
So we don't
visible.
see it.
Oh,
so it's
so
not a
then not a
horizon.
horizon.
I just.
Yeah, I heard it.
There you go.
Wowzers.
That's what we're dealing with here.
Anybody else want to step in and defend this nonsense?
Well, today he's told us something new. Today we've got a new quote. The geometric horizon is not a demarcation between land and sea. It's like, well, why is it called a horizon then?
That's my question.
Well, the diagrams failed. Not the model, the diagram.
but I got a new diagram. Oh, let's not forget the other declaration he made yesterday about not living in a vacuum.
Okay, hang on. Yes. Back to the diagram failing, but not the model. Isn't it based on R? And do we not know what R is? And at a 1 foot observer right, it could be no further than. You can't change that, Rumpus.
Yeah, well, we'd get to that, wouldn't we?
Mark the spot.
Well, we'd get to that. That's why it's just got to be a cluster screw of obfuscation, and let's take turns then, rather than actually discussing the fakeness of rays or addressing the fact that his horizon won't be spanning the left to right expanse of an image. It'll be marked with an X and a single point. And when I ask him, will it be on a Earth curve, you're assuming? Of course, the answer is yes. That's the only curve we're going to have. It's the Earth curve that gives him his R-based geometric horizon. All of those points were ignored by him. Is the curve going to be your curved Earth that you're assuming? Does it get a response? No, it gets a load of filibustering. Gets completely ignored. That's why I'm saying, what's the point? It's not like we want a concession, an acknowledgement of our argument at any stage, because all we seem to do is have to acknowledge their arguments. Well, why haven't you considered this? Suddenly we've got to actually answer him. But when we say, well, have you considered that rays aren't real? That's ignored. It's like, how is this fair?
It'd be great to be the fly on the wall when the big meeting took place back in the day when they realized their model has to have a geometric horizon based on the R value. And since it's not there and it's not visible, they said, you know what? Let's say it's only there and visible if all the air was not there. And let's trick him with that.
Yeah, it just isn't fair though, is it? I mean, ultimately speaking, they've got a dead model to defend and they've got no way out when it comes to the black swan argument or justifying a horizon they don't see. So they're gonna have to do something, and flapping and filibustering you've got to do something, and that's it, right? It's pathetic, but that's what you do when you've got a dying model and a dying religion.
Hey, I know you're not going to miss the Charles Flat Earth math this afternoon. Am I correct?
Is it live or is it pre-recorded?
Live.
Oh, right. Okay, I didn't know how strongly to plug it, because I didn't know if it was like an old episode you were re-airing.
No, this is live. No, it's going to be taken from Robert Bassano hangout. In fact, back in the day between me and Charles, 2016.
Sure. It'd be well worth checking out his 9-minute video then. Just check it out.
You could bring it up. Yeah, I might do it before. I got some other stuff I could do. But yeah.
Sure, but
and a couple other announcements. Yeah, I kind of figured you'd like to join that. So Adam's going to be there, and get ready.
I'm just saying, make sure you watch the video in advance, just so, because there's only going to be in honesty, 2 minutes worth of notes in terms of the actual chunk where he doesn't either misrepresent what modus tollens is, give a ham-handed example for no reason, or straw man a flat Earth argument. The midsection, buried right in the middle of it, is where he actually says, it's refraction, and starts talking about atmospheric effects, compression, and perspective. Ha ha ha. But check it out.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Kiwi, I just sent you a picture that I gave Nathan earlier about an ad that appeared below his show right at the peculiar moment. Take a look.
All right.
Oh, I'm going to have to get that back on screen, aren't
I'll save your balls.
What a day. What a day.
Oh, what a day. What a lovely day. And with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who did tune in on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Of course, a massive thank you to today's Discord and G Plus panels for making today's after show possible. I've been Nathan Oakley. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!